Two house fires within 24 hours right here in the Triad. Now, the video on the left shows helmet cam video from a fire this morning in Winston-Salem. The other video shows damage following a Burlington apartment fire. Fortunately, no one got hurt in either of these fires. What I want you to do is look at the damage after the Winston-Salem fire. Stairs and walls charred, falling apart. A family of 7 lived here in this house. The fire department says it took a crew of more than 30 firefighters to get it under control. Now, that fire in Winston-Salem could have ended very differently. In this case, the family had working fire alarms. Those alarms went off, they heard it in time, everyone got out safely. The Greensboro Fire Department says issues like that reinforce the need to make sure you keep your smoke alarms well maintained. Now, battery smoke alarms need new batteries every 6 to 12 months. If you have an electric hardwired alarm, you can replace it with a long life battery alarm. Now, did you know smoke alarms have an expiration date? That's right, you need to replace them every 10 years.
The alarm begins to decline in its accuracy or its ability to alert you in a fire situation once it is more than 10 years old. By the time they're 12 years old, they've dropped in accuracy by 30%. By the time they're 15, they're down to 50%. It just gets worse the older they are.
Well, have you heard of Smoke Alarm Saturday? It is on June 4th in Greensboro. Trucks will be driving through neighborhoods and replacing fire alarms free of charge in neighborhoods. Now, fire safety officials say a small fire can turn into a major one within less than 30 seconds. Your whole home could be covered in flames in just a few minutes. They stress really every second indeed does count. That's why you need a safety plan. The Department of Homeland Security says you should have 2 ways to get out of each room in case a fire blocks the main exit. You need to double check your windows to make sure they don't get stuck and that you can remove those screens. The department says you should really practice this whole entire plan thing twice a year so no one is surprised. Well, fire officials say about a quarter of reported fires start in a home. The National Fire Protection Agency says nearly half of those home fires start while cooking. Other main causes include faulty wiring or heating equipment. A Triad fire official says in most home fires, what happens is just your typical mistake.
A lot of times just, unintentional. Most of them are mistakes. People are just using stuff as intended and they forget to turn it off, forget to put it out, that kind of thing. And a lot of it's just totally unintentional.
Fire officials say the best thing you can do is make sure you pay attention whenever you're using something or anything with a flame. They say it really does make a difference. Now, I want you to look at the 2 rooms that you're seeing right here. They're in the same house that caught fire. One is unrecognizable. Everything inside is charred and melted. The other is in some rough shape, but you can tell that it's a bedroom. Now, how can this be the very same house? Well, the answer is the door to the bedroom that looks decent was closed. Really, a closed door made that much of a difference. I want you to check this out. After that house fire, the Winston-Salem Fire Department posted this, showing how a room in a house on fire can be, 1,000 degrees. And while the house burning is at that 1,000-degree level, the 900-degree difference between the 2 rooms saves lives. A FEMA fire official says it almost limits the oxygen.
What happens when we don't close doors is that the fire is allowed to feed on the air that it has.
Well, she says a closed door also limits how far the smoke can travel. That makes smoke inhalation much less of a concern for people not in the room of the fire. All right, so I want you to look at this as well. Something cooking inside that cast iron skillet caught fire. The flames melted the microwave above, but most everything else, well, it's fine. Look up above the pot in this picture and you see this round metal thing. It's called the stovetop fire stop, and it's designed to put out a cooking fire. The small canister has a magnet that attaches to your stove hood. If a pan on the stove has an open flame, it will spark the fire stop to release that suppressant inside the canister, and it immediately takes the fire out. You can't talk kitchen safety without talking about the microwave, right? So I want you to see this video here. Parts of this microwave got charred. A fire started inside the microwave because of something that we all do. This person put a paper towel over their food when they were microwaving it. It caught fire. A battalion chief in Winston-Salem says the materials inside some paper towels have changed due to recyclable materials, and now they pose a greater fire hazard.
This is just something that we need to be vigilant of, and, you know, stay right there with it when we cook it, and to make sure that it doesn't start sparking or catching on fire.
Paper towels now come with a warning label about not using them in the microwave and what to do if you start a fire in the microwave because of the paper towel. Well, we're entering cookout and grilling season. We have family and friends over to grill out. It's important to not let the fire outside turn into an inside house fire. The Greensboro Fire Department says you need to make sure you put the grill well away from your home, several feet. Only grill outside. You never bring the grill inside due to rain or cold weather. And if you live in an apartment, it's against the fire code to grill on your balcony. It poses a safety risk to the whole complex. You know, so many times when a house or apartment fire happens, the Red Cross gets called in. They provide financial support so people can get back on their feet. The organization can also help people get a place to stay temporarily. One of their managers says sometimes it's just about giving victims a support system.
We've had clients tell us that much more important than the money was just someone to be there and to let them talk and grieve.
Well, he says first responders usually play a big role in connecting the Red Cross with those fire victims. Fire officials say safety really comes down to two things: a working fire alarm and proper planning. No one ever really thinks it can happen to them, but fires do happen all the time, every day. What we do beforehand can prove to be the difference. WFMY News 2 at 6 is next.